David Smith here with another Flipped Classroom math video. A few tips before we get started. Remember, you can always pause the video to make extra notes or write down questions for when we meet in class. Also, remember to pause the video when I provide an example. Work that problem, then start the video up again and see how well you did. You can also turn on the captions so you can see my words written below on the screen. You can also speed up or slow down the video if you wish. Remember to think hard, follow along, and bring your best brain to the next time we have class. Okay, so this lesson is going to be about converting words to expressions and vice versa. So there's going to be a lot of writing on here. We're going to call this Algebraic Expressions. So the skills you'll learn in this particular lesson are super helpful when you do certain types of word problems. You may have recalled doing a problem where it says the sum of R and S is 25 and their product is 62. Find R and S. So if you don't know how to tease that apart, it's going to be kind of hard to write the correct equation, let alone solve it. Okay? So let's do a couple of these. The sum of P and Q and the square of Z. Okay? The sum of P and Q and the square of Z. Okay? So sum, this is all adding. It just does three things. P and Q and the square of Z. So this is going to be P plus Q plus, and this is a little bit more complicated. It's the square of Z. All that really means is Z squared. So we just write Z squared. So this is what you would get for that. How about, let's figure out a different one. The difference of R and S. So what's that going to be? Take a minute, pause the video, write a quick expression, and come back. Okay, the difference of R and S is just R minus S. Okay, so keywords. Sum is addition. Difference is subtraction. Square is an exponent. I'll put little squared like that. Okay? Let's try a slightly different one. The square of the sum of X and Y. So at this point, I think I want you to try that first before I explain it. You have enough, I think, in here. You know what square means. You know what sum means. You just have to tease this out. It's the square of the sum of X and Y. Pause the video. Give it a shot. Okay, let's see how you did. So this is kind of a little complicated, but what you're doing is you're squaring the sum. So you first have to get the sum and then square it. So the sum of X and Y is just X plus Y. So the square of that sum, you have to put your parentheses around it and square it. So that's the square of the sum of X and Y. Let's try a different one. How about B less than double A? Okay, so think about that one and figure out what you might write. It's B less than double A. Pause the video, write something down. Okay, let's see how you did. So what's really going on here is we're taking b away from twice a. Okay? So to do that, I'm going to write twice a, which is 2a. That's double a minus b. Okay? So this is b less than twice a. Okay? Okay, let's try this one. The sum of the squares of, let's use, how about p, that's just a p and q. So this is the sum of the squares of p and q. Pause the video, think about it, give it a shot. Okay, let's see how you did. So this one's very much like that last one, but we kind of reversed it. Now we're adding together the sum. We're adding the squares of p and q. So they're already squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to do p squared plus q squared. Okay? So this is the sum of the squares of p and q. The last one was the square of the sum. So you got to pay attention to the words because they can be kind of tricky. Okay, so now we're going to go the other way. I'm going to write something like this, and you need to convert that to words. So let's try this one. Actually, cut it before this. Start over. Okay, so now we're going to go from expressions to words. So 2 words from expressions. Okay, so let's try that. X minus 5. How would you write that in words? And don't just write x minus minus five. We want to write it in kind of one of these things, using words like sum and difference and squares. So think about that for a minute. Pause the video. Okay, let's see how you did. Remember that other one we did with the difference? So this is just the difference of x and 5. Okay? Let's do another. D equals CT. Okay? You might need to think about what the equals sign means in language. Again, don't write D spelled out equals CT. That's just translating it kind of in a literal way. We need to put it into language. So see what you get. Pause the video. Okay. This one's kind of interesting. D is. So is a key word that means equals. Okay? So D is, what is this? This is C times T. Now, you could write that, but there's a better way to do that. We have a special word for when you're multiplying things. What's that word called? Product. So D is the product of C and T. Okay? So that's that one. Okay, I'm going to give you one more that's a little bit hard. Okay? Let's do 3x squared plus 7. Okay? How would you convert that into language? Pause the video, give it a shot, and then come back. Okay, let's see how you did. This is kind of interesting. Teasing it out, I've got x squared, so that's the square of x, but it's being multiplied by 3. So this is the product of 3 and the square of x. I almost said 3 times the square of x, but remember we want to use the more fancy words. So this part here is the product of 3 and the square of x. But we have a 7 out here. So it's 7 more than that. So this would be 7 more than the product of 3 and x. Okay? Now, some of you may have written slightly different things when you gave it a shot, and some of those might be right. There's more than one way to do this well. When I grade you on a test or a quiz, of course I'm going to give you full credit if you use a slightly different set of words to do that. But remember, you can't do times and minus. You have to use difference, product, sum, and then there's one last one. Let's do that. Let's see. I'm going to just make some room over here. How about what might you do for that? Different keyword for that one. Pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, so let's see how you did. When you're dividing, the fancy schmancy word for dividing is quotient. So this thing here is a quotient. It's one thing divided by another, and then we add 9 to it. So remember how we added 7 to this one? So this is going to be 9 more than the quotient of m and n. 9 more than the quotient, Q-U-O-T-I-E-N-T, of m and n. Okay? If you still have questions, write them down now and bring them to our next class. You can also watch the video again and perfect your notes. Finally, if you enjoyed watching my video, please click the like button down below. And if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.